Welcome to all. Long before cities and lights, people gathered just like this to share what the dark could not swallow. Tonight we talk about a Roman emperor who ruled the world yet spent every day fighting himself. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He had armies, gold, power over millions. But his real battle was not on the field. It was in his own heart, against anger, against the need to control what he could never control. If you have ever felt rage boil up and ruin a moment you cared about, if you have ever said words you wished you could pull back, then this story is for you. Stay with me, because the next minutes can change how you face your days. Marcus ruled Rome at its height. Enemies pushed from all sides. Plagues killed thousands. Advisors lied. His own son turned cold and cruel. Every morning brought new pressure. Yet in his private notebook, the one we now call Meditations, he wrote the same question over and over. How do I keep my peace when the world wants me to break? He did not write this once. He wrote it hundreds of times in different words. That tells us something. Even an emperor with total outer power felt powerless inside, unless he practiced control every single day. Let me tell you about one specific moment. Picture this. Marcus sits in his war tent on the northern frontier. It is cold. The candles flicker. A general walks in and reports that a trusted officer has stolen supplies and blamed it on Marcus's orders. The general is angry. He wants the man executed. Marcus feels heat rise in his chest. He feels that old familiar pull. Punish him. Show strength. Make an example. But Marcus does not speak. He closes his eyes for 5 seconds. He breathes in slowly. 4 counts. Then out for 6. Then he opens his eyes and says, one sentence. Let me speak to the man first. I need to understand what happened before I decide. The general leaves frustrated. But 3 days later, the truth comes out. The officer did take the supplies, but he took them to feed soldiers whose rations had been delayed by floods. He acted without permission, yes, but not from greed, from care. If Marcus had reacted in that first heated moment, he would have killed a loyal man and lost respect. Instead, he chose to slow down. That is not weakness, that is mastery. This is what changes when you choose a calm response instead of a hot reaction. Marcus learned this from the Stoics, the ancient philosophers who believed one simple idea. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Most of us think anger protects us. We think it shows strength, that it defends our boundaries. But Marcus saw the truth. Anger does not protect you. It burns you first. It clouds your judgment, breaks your relationships, and leaves regret in its wake. He wrote in his notebook, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. If someone wrongs you and you rage back, you become the same. You hand them your peace. You let their chaos infect your calm. That is not power. That is surrender. So what did Marcus do instead? He built a system, not a perfect system, because perfection does not exist, but a practice he could return to every single day. He called it his discipline of the mind, his daily armor against chaos. Let me give you the short version. The tools he used when anger tried to take over. First, he reminded himself that people are not perfect. But neither was he. When someone lies, when someone breaks a promise, Marcus asked himself, have I ever failed? Have I ever been wrong? The answer was always yes. That does not mean you accept bad behavior. It means you see the person as human, not as an enemy. Marcus wrote in his Meditations, in the morning when you wake up, tell yourself, today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But he did not stop there. He added, they are like this because they do not know the difference between good and evil. And I have seen the nature of good, that it is beautiful, and the nature of evil, that it is ugly. And I have seen the nature of the wrongdoer himself, that he is related to me, not by blood or birth, but by sharing in the same mind and the same portion of divinity. This is deep. Marcus is saying the person who wrongs you is not your enemy. They are lost. They do not see clearly, and you are connected to them by something bigger than blood. You share reason, you share humanity. So when they act badly, it is not personal. It is confusion. Second, He practiced the pause. When anger rises, do not act. Stop for 5 seconds. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6. Then choose one clear sentence. Not a reaction. This is not about being soft. This is about being in charge. Reaction gives your power away. Response keeps it. Marcus knew that most of our regrets come from the first 5 seconds. That moment when heat takes over and we say something we cannot take back. So he trained himself to pause. To give his mind time to catch up with his emotion. To separate the trigger from the response. Third, Marcus asked himself, what is actually under my control here? Can I control what that person said? No. Can I control what I say next? Yes. Can I control their choices? No. Can I control my own? Yes. Every time you return to that line, you take your power back from the noise. This is the core Stoic philosophy. There are things you control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and there are things you do not control. Other people, the weather, the past, most of the future. When you fight against what you cannot control, you suffer. When you focus on what you can control, you gain strength. Fourth, he looked at the bigger picture. He imagined himself from above. Small, he imagined time, how this moment would fade. In a year, will this matter? In 10 years, will I even remember this person's name? That does not mean the moment is not real. It means the moment is not worth your peace. Marcus wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He also wrote, the universe is change, life is opinion. What he meant is this, the world keeps moving. Things happen, but your suffering, your anger, your pain, that comes from how you see it. Change your opinion, and you change your experience. Let me tell you another story. Not about Marcus, but about a woman named Alara. Alara worked as a nurse in a busy hospital. Long shifts, exhausting work, patients who were scared, and sometimes rude. One evening, a man came in with chest pain. He was loud, aggressive, shouting at Alara that she was too slow, that she did not care, that she was incompetent. Alara felt her jaw tighten. She felt her hands shake. She wanted to walk out. She wanted to shout back, but she remembered something she had read. A line from Marcus. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. So she stopped. She took a breath. She looked at the man, really looked at him, and she saw it. He was terrified. His face was pale. His hands were trembling. He was not angry at her. He was angry at fear. So Alara said calmly, I understand. You are scared. I would be too. I am going to take care of you. Just breathe with me for a moment. The man stopped shouting. He looked at her, and then he started to cry. He said, I am sorry. I am just so scared. Alara finished her shift that night with no regret. She set a boundary. She stayed calm. She saw through the anger to the fear underneath. This is what happens when you hold your line without losing your calm. Alara did not explode. She did not beg. She responded with clarity. That is the power Marcus taught. Less heat, more light, better words. Now, some of you are thinking, but what if the other person does not stop? What if they keep pushing? Marcus had an answer for that too. He said, you cannot force people to change, but you can decide how close you let them stand to your peace. If someone keeps throwing chaos at you, you move. Not in fear, but in self-respect. You do not argue with a fire. You step away from it. You protect what matters. Your calm is what matters. Marcus knew that some people will not change. Some people will keep lying, keep attacking, keep draining your energy. And his advice was simple. Protect your mind. Set a boundary. Walk away if you have to. He wrote, how much more harmful are the consequences of anger and grief than the things that cause them? Think about that. The insult itself, the betrayal itself, the lie itself, those hurt, but the anger you carry afterward, the revenge you plan, the bitterness you hold, those hurt more, and they hurt longer, because you carry them. So Marcus said, let it go. Not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Here is the tool I want you to carry forward. It is simple. It is Marcus's pause, updated for today. When anger rises, when someone says something that makes your chest tighten, do this. Stop for 5 seconds. Do not speak, do not type, do not move. Just stop. Then breathe in for 4 counts, out for 6. Do that twice. Then ask yourself one question. Am I reacting to this moment or to something old inside me? Most of our anger is not about now. It is about the last time we felt disrespected, the last time we felt small. We pile up all those old fires and pour them onto the present person. They do not deserve all that heat. Neither do you. So separate the moment from the memory. If the person in front of you truly crossed a line, respond with clarity. Set your boundary. But if your anger is bigger than the moment, that is your signal. That is old fuel. Let it go. Now let me give you a plan. Today, practice this once. Just once. Pick one moment where you feel irritation. It does not have to be big. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic. Maybe someone interrupts you. In that moment, stop. Breathe twice. Ask the question. Do it once. That is all. In 3 days, I want you to notice 3 triggers. Not to fix them. Not to avoid them. Just notice. Write them down. What made your chest tighten? When did you feel anger rise? You are not judging yourself. You are gathering data. Because you cannot change what you do not see. In 7 days, I want you to track one conversation where you used the pause. A moment where you could have reacted hot, but you chose calm instead. Write down what happened. What did you say? How did it turn out? Did you keep your peace? That is your proof. That is how you build this skill. One moment at a time. Let me tell you more about Marcus and why this matters so much. Marcus was not born a Stoic. He was not born calm. He learned it. His teacher, a philosopher named Epictetus, taught him that philosophy is not about books. It is about practice. Epictetus said, "Do not explain your philosophy. Embody it." Marcus took that to heart. Every morning, he woke up and reminded himself of what he would face. He knew people would lie. He knew they would disappoint him. He knew life would push back. But instead of being surprised, instead of being hurt, he prepared. He wrote in his notebook, "Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence." That sounds dark, but it is not. It is realistic. Marcus was not pessimistic. He was ready, and because he was ready, he was not shaken when it happened. Think about your own life. How many times have you been hurt because you expected something different? You expected fairness. You expected honesty. You expected loyalty. And when you did not get it, you felt betrayed. But Marcus said, expect nothing except what nature gives. People will act according to their nature. If they are confused, they will act confused. If they are scared, they will act scared. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to stay clear. Let me tell you about a man named Theo. Theo ran a small business with his brother. They built it together over 10 years. But one day Theo found out his brother had been taking money from the company account for personal use, thousands of dollars. Theo was devastated. He felt betrayed. He felt rage. He wanted to call the police. So his brother cut him out of his life forever. But before he acted, Theo sat down and wrote. He wrote everything he felt, all the anger, all the hurt. Then he asked himself, what would Marcus do? He thought about the pause. He thought about control. He realized that his brother was not evil. His brother was desperate. He had debts Theo did not know about. He made bad choices because he was scared. That did not make it right, but it made it human. So Theo did not call the police. He called his brother. He said, I know what you did. I am angry. I am hurt. But I am also your brother. We are going to sit down, figure out the debt, and fix this together. But if you ever lie to me again, I am done. His brother broke down. He admitted everything. They paid back the debt together over 2 years. The business survived. Their relationship survived because Theo chose response over reaction. This is what happens when you step back and see the whole picture. Theo did not ignore the problem. He did not pretend it was okay. He set a boundary. but he did it with clarity, not with heat. That is the Marcus way. Now let me talk about anger itself. Why do we get angry? Marcus said. Anger comes from unmet expectations. You expect the world to be fair, but it is not. You expect people to act right, but they do not. You expect control, but you have none. And every time reality does not match your expectation, you feel anger. So the solution is not to control the world. The solution is to adjust your expectations, not to lower them, but to align them with reality. Marcus wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." That means when someone insults you, they are not stating a fact. They are sharing their opinion, shaped by their pain, their fear, their history, and you do not have to accept it as truth. You can let it pass. You can say, that is their view, not mine. And you can move on. Let me tell you about a young man named Callum. Callum worked in a tech startup. His manager, a man named Dane, was harsh. Every meeting, Dane would criticize Callum in front of the team. "Your code is sloppy. Your ideas are weak. You are holding us back." Callum felt shame. He felt anger. He started to believe it. But one day, Callum read something from Marcus. The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if they are ignorant. And Callum realized, Dane is one person, one opinion, and Dane is under pressure too. The company is struggling. Dane is scared of failing. So he projects that fear onto his team. Callum decided to test it. Next meeting, when Dane criticized his work, Callum did not react. He said calmly, "I hear your concern. Can you give me specific feedback so I can improve?" Dane paused. He was not used to that response. He actually gave useful feedback. Over time, the dynamic changed. Dane stopped attacking. Callum kept his calm. And Callum realized the insult only hurt because he believed it. Once he stopped believing it, it lost power. This is what Marcus taught. Other people cannot hurt you unless you let them. They can say words. They can act badly. But your pain comes from your interpretation. Change the interpretation and you change the pain. Here is another tool. Marcus called it the view from above. When you feel overwhelmed, when anger takes over, imagine yourself rising up. Picture yourself from above, in your city, in your country, on the planet, in the universe. See how small the moment is. See how brief. Marcus wrote, "How small a part of the boundless and unfathomable time is assigned to every man, for it is very soon swallowed up in the eternal." He also wrote, "How small a part of the infinite void, and in this infinity your anger, your pain, your moment of rage, it is a speck. That does not mean it is not real. It means it is not worth your whole life. So when someone cuts you off in traffic, imagine the view from above. You are two tiny humans in metal boxes, moving through a city of millions, on a planet of billions, in a universe of trillions of stars. Does this moment define you? Does it deserve your peace? No, let it go." Marcus practiced this every day. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He also wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Think about that. At any moment, you can revoke your pain. You can say, "I am choosing to let this go, not because it does not matter, but because my peace matters more." Let me tell you one more story. A woman named Iris. Iris had a friend, someone she trusted for years. One day, Iris found out this friend had been spreading rumors about her. Lies, hurtful lies. Iris felt crushed. She felt betrayed. She wanted revenge. She wanted to expose the friend, to ruin her reputation. But before she acted, Iris asked herself, what do I actually want? Do I want revenge, or do I want peace? She realized revenge would feel good for 5 minutes, but it would tie her to this person forever. It would keep the anger alive. So Iris chose differently. She cut the friend out of her life quietly. No drama, no public fight. She just stopped engaging. And when people asked why, she said simply, We grew apart. A year later, Iris looked back and felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just relief, because she chose peace over revenge. This is what happens when you let go. You do not forget. You do not pretend it did not hurt. But you stop feeding the fire. You stop letting that person live in your head rent-free. You take your power back. Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." If your enemy is cruel, do not be cruel. If your enemy is dishonest, do not be dishonest. If your enemy is chaotic, do not be chaotic. Be the opposite. Be calm. Be clear. Be strong. That is how you win, not by destroying them, but by protecting yourself. Now, let me talk about daily practice. Marcus did not just think about these ideas. He practiced them every single day. He wrote in his notebook not to teach others, but to remind himself. Every morning he reviewed his principles. Every night he reviewed his actions. He asked himself, where did I lose my calm today? Where did I react instead of respond? Where did I let someone else control my peace? And then he planned for tomorrow. How will I do better? What will I say next time? How will I hold my line? This is the practice I want you to build. Every night before sleep, take 2 minutes. Write down one moment today where you felt anger. What triggered it? How did you respond? Did you keep your calm or did you lose it? If you lost it, what will you do differently next time? If you kept it, celebrate that. Write it down. That moment is proof. You are building this skill. You are becoming the person who does not break under pressure. You are becoming the person who stays steady when the world shakes. Marcus ruled an empire, but his real empire was his mind. Every day he woke up and chose his response. He did not wait for the world to be kind. He did not wait for people to be fair. He practiced calm, like a soldier practices his drills, over and over, until it became his natural reflex. You can do the same. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of your own anger. You are the one who decides what gets through. You are the one who sets the line. You are the gatekeeper of your peace. From this day forward, you do not react. You do not let heat drive your words. You let clarity guide them. You do not hand your power to people who do not deserve it. You keep it, you use it, you build with it. That is who you are now. That is the identity you carry. You are the person who pauses. You are the person who breathes. You are the person who chooses. Every day, every moment, you have that choice. And every time you choose calm, you become stronger. Every time you choose clarity, you build trust in yourself. Every time you choose peace, you honor the best part of who you are. Marcus Aurelius faced war, plague, betrayal, and loss, but he never lost himself. He kept his center, he kept his calm, and he left us a gift. His notebook, his practice, his proof that it can be done. If an emperor surrounded by chaos could find peace, so can you. If a man with the weight of an empire on his shoulders could pause, breathe, and choose, so can you. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need everyone to be kind. You just need to practice, one moment at a time, one breath at a time, one choice at a time, one choice at a time. If today's lesson made sense to you, if the pause feels like something you can actually use, then subscribe and come back tomorrow. We will train this, step by step, until calm becomes your natural strength. Stay, learn, and carry your peace forward.